Behind the Red Line, Episode 51. Chrystul Kizer, the girl who burned the house down. In the summer of 2018, in a quiet Wisconsin neighborhood, lined with modest homes and trimmed lawns, something burned. A fire that did not just consume wood and drywall, but a secret so sickening, so predatory, that its ashes would crack open a national debate about children, power, justice, and what someone is driven to do when no adult ever saves them. Beat. This is the case of 17-year-old Chrystul Kizer, a trafficked Black teenage girl, a predator with money, a house, a camera, and a long list of victims. Some lived, some didn't. SFX match strike. Tonight, we follow the flames. Before the fire, before the headlines, before the mugshot, Chrystul Kizer was just a kid, a shy teen from Milwaukee. Quiet, creative. A girl who liked art, who doodled in her notebooks, who wanted a future far away from the instability around her. But life had already been unkind. She bounced between shelters, couches, unsafe neighborhoods. She'd learned early that adults didn't always protect you. In 2016, she was just 16 years old when a man twice her age messaged her on Facebook. A message so casual, so ordinary, and so deadly. His name was Randy Volar III, 33 years old, white, financially stable, a man with a quiet house in Kenosha, and a very loud history that no one in power seemed interested in stopping. He targeted teenage girls, Black girls, vulnerable girls, girls no one would look for fast enough. He bought them food. He bought them clothes. He bought them attention. And then he bought their silence. Beat. Randy groomed Chrystul slowly, the same way he groomed others. He made her feel cared for before he made her feel trapped. He filmed everything. There were videos, hard drives, files. Law enforcement would later find them, but only after the house went up in flames. Volar's home was not a home. It was a set, a stage, a trap. Inside those walls, Chrystul said she endured sexual abuse repeatedly. He controlled the transportation, the money, the threats. He isolated her. He promised things he never gave. He told her she owed him. He let her know she wasn't going anywhere. At just 17, Chrystul felt owned. Like property, like prey. SFX, distant camera shutter. Every assault was recorded. I want you to imagine something. You're 17. You're trapped. There is no mother, no father, no police officer to call. Every adult who should be your lifeline is either absent or blind. For Chrystul, survival didn't look noble. It looked desperate. And then, one night, something happened. Volar became violent, dangerously violent, and Chrystul snapped out of fear, not in a moment of vengeance, but in a moment of pure instinct. I have to get out. I have to live. On June 5th, 2018, the story broke open. Chrystul went to Volar's home. By this point, she believed he was planning to traffic her again, or worse. The threats were constant. He had choked her before, and he'd told her that if she ever tried to leave him, he'd kill her. What happened inside that house is reconstructed only from physical evidence and Chrystul's testimony. She says he tried to pin her down. A struggle broke out. She reached for a gun. A single shot rang out. Randy Volar fell. She didn't run immediately. Shock does strange things. Trauma does stranger. She set fire to the house. Prosecutors said it was to cover the killing. But survivors say, when you believe a monster owns you, you burn the cage. Fire crews arrived first. They found a body. They found a scene far darker than a simple arson. Inside that home, police uncovered something they had never bothered to look for before. Videotapes, files, and evidence of Randy Volar's serial abuse of underage girls. Material that showed what he had been doing for years. And here's the most chilling part. Police already knew about him. They had detained Volar months earlier, after another girl escaped his house, half-dressed, terrified, reporting he'd been keeping her drugged. He was arrested. He was released, without charges. Chrystul was one of many who would have never been found. But instead of being seen as a survivor, Chrystul was charged as a murderer. Kenosha County prosecutors charged her with first-degree intentional homicide, arson, auto theft, and possession of a gun. The maximum penalty? Life in prison for killing the man who abused her. Her case became a lightning rod. Lawyers, activists, girls who saw themselves in her. People who said, if the state allowed this man to keep abusing children, how can they punish the child who fought back? The story exploded nationwide. Celebrities raised money for her bail. Advocacy groups stepped in. The world went from ignoring Chrystul to watching her every step. Her attorneys invoked Wisconsin's safe harbor laws, arguing that children who are trafficked cannot legally consent and should not be punished for crimes committed while they were being victimized. The case forced America to ask a terrifying question. When a child kills their trafficker, is it murder or is it self-defense? In 2022, Wisconsin's Supreme Court delivered a decision. Chrystul could argue self-defense under trafficking statutes. It didn't end the case, but it changed everything. It meant the system finally acknowledged what happened to her. She wasn't a femme fatale. She wasn't a cold-blooded killer. She was a child trapped in a nightmare. This case is still unfolding. Chrystul Kizer is not a headline. She's not a villain. She's not a hero. She is a survivor who did what survivors often do. Whatever it takes to make it out alive. The fire in that house didn't just kill a man. It exposed a system that protected him, ignored her, and forced a teenage girl to fight for her life, alone. This is what happens when the monster dies. But the system that fed him keeps breathing. This has been Behind the Red Line. Episode 51, The Girl Who Burned the House Down.